This is a Film Stories original podcast.
We made this.
And welcome to the Xcast. The truth is in here. This is our special Fight the Future Minute podcast, and I'm your host, Cortlan Waters Bartley. You're listening to our coverage of Minute 15 of the X-Files Fight the Future, which starts at 14 minutes 0 seconds with Scully pranking Mulder with the door on the roof and ends at 14 minutes 59 seconds with Mulder digging through his pocket change. I'm here with Xcast patron and recurring guest, Cathy Glinski. Hi, Cathy.
Hi, Cortlan.
To start, since this is Cathy's first minute, I would like to hear a little bit about the first time you saw the movie. Did you get to go to the theater?
Yes. Actually, this was a really fun story. I saw it opening day, and at the time, my husband was in the Navy, and he was stationed temporarily in San Diego while the kids and I stayed here in Washington. So we each bought tickets for the 7 p.m. show in our respective cities so we could see it at the same time in the theater, even though we couldn't see it together. That way we could talk about it with each other and no one would spoil it for each other. And he had wanted me to wait until he got home, and I wasn't going to do that.
Does he even know you?
Right?
I'm just kidding.
So true.
Yeah, I can't imagine waiting that.
No.
Wow.
No, I wasn't going to wait another day, let alone 3 weeks, you know.
And how was it in the theater? How was that?
It was so exciting. It was so thrilling to see X-Files with a crowd, which is the first time we'd ever done that, obviously. You know, the most I'd ever watched it with was one other person. So it was really fun. I ended up having some friends there and sat with them. It was just amazing. I loved the whole thing, the whole experience of seeing them giant on the big screen and all the surprises that the movie had to offer. It was wonderful.
And you liked the movie?
Oh, yes. I did, and I still do.
So the requisite question, obviously, is if you were going to give the movie a rating out of 10, what would it be?
I'm going to go with an 8.5. Sometimes I would rate it a 9, and other times I get kind of ticked off that Scully is sidelined a little too much. But so I think 8.5 is a good score.
Sure.
It's the movie I love. I never tire of rewatching it. I just get a little annoyed at times with the way she's treated.
I mean, she does seem to be unconscious for a while.
Yeah, and even before that, you know, the syndicate shows a picture of Mulder and Scully sneaking into the morgue, and they say, "Oh, Mulder has seen the corpse," or whatever. And I'm like, hello, guys. And I just think it was just, big budget Hollywood bullshit that we have to have the male star, you know, and the male secondary character. Oh, other than that, I love it.
I mean, I love Fight the Future. And so I'm sure people will remember from my previous minute how much I love Fight the Future. We don't have to go over that again. But I really think it's such a good encapsulation of the show in movie form. So I'm glad that you also like it.
Yeah. So
we can talk about specifically this minute 15, which kicks off with Scully and Mulder on the roof when Scully decides she's going to play a little prank on Mulder. And we then follow them down from the roof into the lobby. So we're going to kick it off with all this rooftop banter. And what are your thoughts about the banter, Cathy?
It's so adorable. Scully playing her little prank on him. And what I love about this is it's a wonderful little introduction to who they are as a team. It shows that they've been partners for a while. They know each other. They've got this little game that they play with each other, so they enjoy each other's company. And it's just a great way to introduce this relationship to viewers who maybe don't know anything about the show. And it's even better for those of us who know and love them, because it's so cute.
I completely agree. I actually was the guest in the minutes right before this one.
Uh-huh.
So in those minutes, we see Mulder and Scully for the first time in the movie, and they go out of their way to introduce their individual perspectives.
Uh-huh.
Mulder gets to talk about playing a hunch, and Scully gets to talk about the logical way to find this bomb that they're looking for. But then this whole scene is obviously, just like you said, dedicated to introducing us to them together. And
yeah.
yes, what that particular relationship is like, which obviously I think I think everyone would agree that their relationship is why we love the show so much.
That's certainly why I love it. Yeah.
Me too. I just assume that everyone loves it.
Everyone loves that.
No. I mean,
what's not to love? Come on.
Exactly. What's not to love about the panic face? Because that's just, of course, he has a panic face. And when he says that line, when I panic, I make this face, all I can think of is like, this is 5 years later. She's seen your panic face before, Mulder. Like, there have been lots of times that there's been panic. Yes. Like, there have been.
And she says, that's the face. I saw that face.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
I loved finding out that was ad-libbed by David Duchovny. That he was teasing, he's poking fun at himself and at critics of his acting that, he's just so wooden and never changed his expression. And then he makes that ridiculous, this is what my face looks like. That's so cute. So cute. And amazing that that's so iconic now. I can't think of anyone I know who's an X-File who doesn't know what you're talking about when you say panic face,
Exactly. Yeah, that's a great point. And I mean, good for him for having the sense of self to poke fun at himself a little bit.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, that's pretty great. And just as a side note, right at that moment when they come off of the elevator, they seem to be surrounded by a lot of children.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know, do you know, what is this building that they're in?
Well, it wasn't the federal, or was it the federal building?
I don't think so.
No, but it did have some federal offices. So yeah, I don't know why the children would be there, although it looked like sort of a school trip, was it?
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought, well, they must be on a field trip.
Yeah.
I get it's probably the middle of the day,
Right.
What are they doing there? But are they touring the tiny FEMA office that we find out about later? And why would they let the children in with the alien infected bodies in the FEMA office?
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I always wonder, what are those kids doing there?
Yeah.
I mean, except obviously to highlight that this building has not been evacuated.
Right. And there's a sense of urgency because we got to protect the children. Yeah.
Sure. I just always think it's funny that they're standing in the middle of just a lot of kids. There are just suddenly a lot of kids out of nowhere coming off of must have been a hilarious elevator ride. Mulder, Scully, and all the children.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting that Mulder's in a t-shirt and Scully's in a suit. I don't really know why, but other than maybe they're trying to appeal to their audience who really wants to see Mulder in a t-shirt. I enjoyed it. I'm not complaining, mind you.
Right. The audience of Cathy wanted to see Mulder in a t-shirt.
It's just, they're really working, and they both got FBI windbreakers on, but she's in a suit and he's in a t-shirt and he's all sweaty and I've noticed that.
Yeah, I've noticed that before about their wardrobe though. Scully is almost always dressed much more formally than Mulder, just in general.
Yeah.
So
it is a good introduction.
We could probably write that off as a character point.
Yeah.
Mulder is not wearing a suit to look for this bomb. He does not care.
It's better than hell up there.
Exactly. He's not having it. He probably didn't even bring a suit to Texas. So good for him, I guess. There is one thing about that whole sequence that kind of bothers me. And I love this movie, so the critique from me is pretty light. But at the very end, Gillian Anderson, when she says something like, "You're buying, get me something sweet."
Uh-huh.
And something about her accent in that just split second is always a little off to me. It doesn't sound like Scully anymore.
Interesting.
And I don't know, maybe I'm the only person. It's just that when she says something sweet, I'm always like, what is happening to Scully right now?
That's never stood out to me before, but now, of course, I'm going to watch it again and listen and analyze it to death. No, I've never heard that. I loved that getting that little glimpse into what she's in, what she likes, what she wants from the vending machine is something sweet. Yeah. And I love that little moment.
We know Mulder's getting something salty, so.
Yeah, exactly. But that little moment, this is what happens when we play a prank on each other. The loser has to buy. Again, that was extending their little relationship introduction. That this is what they do. It's very cute.
Sure. I do think that's pretty. I mean, it is a great continuation of their conversation. Yeah. And it really, it's just that one, something about that accent just for one split. I'm like, what are you saying right now? But yeah.
What does it sound like to you? Does it sound like
it sounds
into her British or?
No, it sounds extra Southern to me.
Okay.
Like maybe too relaxed for Scully. Maybe, I don't know. Hard to pinpoint it exactly what it is.
Okay.
But I don't know. That maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the only person who ever thinks that.
We'll find out.
We will. Someone let me know. If you agree, someone let me know. So I don't know. We're almost to the end of our minute 15 because these go by so quickly. But did you have other things?
Yeah, there's one big thing.
Oh, okay, go ahead. I'm ready.
Right at the very end of the minute, as Mulder's walking into the vending room, the black-haired man walks out.
Yes, the black-haired man. Again with the creativity.
Yeah, right. And that's Michael Seamus Wiles as the actor. And he was the syndicate assassin who killed the shooter in the end. And I did not pick up on that until I watched it just like this week with the commentary. That never, ever stood out to me. Never dawned on me that he was an important person, but there you go.
I mean, they picked this one very small thing to feel really strongly about continuity.
Yeah. Yeah.
They felt really strongly about the black-haired man being an important character from the syndicate.
Yeah.
No, you're right, though. I did not know. I did not recognize him when I was just watching normally.
Yeah. It never occurred to me that was someone who should grab my attention. But.
No. I mean, I he does at the end of this minute. Obviously, he's an important player in this game. We notice him because we're watching what Mulder does. But,
yeah.
I don't know that I ever would have been like, yeah, I recognize that guy.
No, I wouldn't have recognized him.
If they didn't tell me.
I wouldn't even have thought to look at him. And I don't think I ever have. In all the times I've watched this movie, I don't think I've ever thought, oh, that's an important person. I just thought it was someone coming out of the vending room.
Interesting. Well, yeah, we can talk about this more next time when we talk about the vending machine room, but I definitely have always had thoughts about that guy, but not because I recognized him as an important person from the syndicate.
Okay.
I'm not that careful of a watcher.
No, I figure most people are probably more perceptive about that kind of thing than I am. It's not my strong suit. But I can tell you that Mulder had a sweaty t-shirt on.
This is why we have multiple people doing Fight the Future Minutes. We are all going to see something different. And then, so my last little note is that almost at exactly 49 minutes and 59 seconds, Mulder is going through, he's pulled change out of his pocket. He's in the vending machine room and he's pulled out his change and he picks like a piece of paper out of his hand and then throws it on the ground.
Yeah.
I was like, you're littering inside a building. That's not cool.
No, not at all. What's up, Mulder?
No. And what is that paper? Like,
I know, right? That's what I need to know. It's probably
this is a movie set. You didn't just throw it away like normal. Why is it in your pocket at all?
I'm thinking it's like a scrap from a sunflower seed packet, just like
Sure.
You tear off the top and he had that and he didn't need that anymore. Just throw it on the floor.
Right. And then he just throws it on the floor. And I mean, okay, we all know what happens to this building later. It doesn't matter, but still. It's the principle of the thing.
It is. It's on
film. Every time. I'm like, man, come on. So he could have at least put it back in his pocket.
Right. He could.
Okay. Well, I think that wraps up minute 15. Cathy, do you want to tell listeners where they might find you on the internet?
I am on Twitter a lot. I'm Cathy G at Catherine Glins 2. And I'm also in the XCast basement on Facebook occasionally.
Okay. I'm also on Twitter a lot. It's probably easier to just search for my name, Cortlan, Cortlan. My handle is at CWB on Twitter and Instagram. And we will be back soon with minute 16 when we're going to find out what happens when a vending machine eats Mulder's change. Thanks for chatting, Cathy, and thanks everyone for listening. Until next time, as always, trust no one.
Previously on the We Made This Network. The Movie Palace.
All right then, so Some Like It Hot. So yeah, I think the thinking here was just that, I mean, we did the lockdown episode last week. I thought it'd be good to do something light-hearted for the first full film discussion back. And I thought, Some Like It Hot was a very strong contender to be that film. So what are your general thoughts on the film? And this wasn't your first watch, was it? I think this is one you'd seen a while ago, is that right?
Yes, that's true. I'd have to look at Letterboxd probably to pin down when I first saw the film, because that's how I keep track of my film watching. But it was some years ago, I think. I think it was around 5-6 years ago, maybe longer.
Observing the Pattern, a Fringe podcast.
I think it's the whole Peter's
about Peter being a bit of a nomad.
I think it's just Peter overreacting a little bit.
I think he definitely overreacts, but I think it's a really good. It's a good interaction between these two, and it's a good scene. And I have to admit, I really like Joshua Jackson when he gets kind of intense like that.
Yeah.
For the majority of the show, he's like that as well. But in this scene, I really love.
We dig music.
Ben Folds, or Benjamin Scott Folds, is an American singer-songwriter, musician, composer and record producer from Chapel Hill in North Carolina in America.
North Carolina.
North Carolina.
It's next to North Carolina.
It is. It's sort of in between north and south, that's why it's Snorth.
Yes. Many people would say middle, not Colin.
Snorth, I think Snorth is a better word than middle.
Yeah.
I think middle's overrated. We'll go with Snorth.
Check out all of these shows and more on the We Made This podcast network.